It would soon grow accustomed to it. It knew him better than anyone, guaranteeing utmost affinity. The two of them were as caduceus, two in one, two sides of the same coin, yin and yang. Welcome back to Dies Irae. Well, last time we died? Almost died? I don't know. We won't see. Hurry, hurry, hurry. The sound drilling into my skull began to merge with the noise gradually transforming into something I could make out as human speech. A familiar requiem I'd heard somewhere before. Dies irae, dies illa solvit, seclum in favilla, teste David cum Sibylla. Sorry. Quantum tremor est futurus quanto iudex est venturus conxa stricte discussurus. Tuba mirum spagens sonum persic pulcra regionum coget omnes ante tronum. Mors stupebit et natura cum resurget creatura judicanti responsura. Liber strictus proferetur in quo totum continetur unde mundus judicetur. Oh, okay. I can't really translate it properly. I can understand some part of it, but not all. It's at least the last part here is like until everyone is being judged. So everyone is supposed to be judged by someone. I'm not sure why, who. I guess we'll get the translation at some point. In quo totum continue. Yeah, well, it will continue until everyone is judged. Something like that. Judex ergo cum sedebit, quid latet, apparebit, nil innultum remanebit. Quid sum miser tunc dicturus, quem patronum rogaturus, cum vex justus sit securus. Rex tremende majestatis qui salvondos, salvas gratis, salva me fons pietatis. Recordare Jesu pie, quod sum causa tuae vie, ne me perdas illa die. Quarens me sedisti lasus, redemisti cruxem passus, tantes labor non sit casus, juste judex ultionis donum fac remisi. Something is stuck in my throat again. I love that. Remissionisante diem rationis ingemisco tanquam reus culpa rubet, vultus meus supplicanti passe Deus, qui Mariam absolvisti et latronem exaudisti mihi quoque spem didisti. Preces me non sunt digne, sed tu bonus fac benigne. I'm sorry, fac benigne ne perenni crema igne inter ovos locum presta et medis me sequestra statuens in parte dextra confutatis maledictis flammis acribus addictis voca me cum benedictis oro supplex et acclinis cor contritum quasi clinus gere curam mei finis. To my end. Okay, my skull was split, my head severed. Wow, I'm not used to the wide writing now. The string of unintelligible words that poured forth from within jolted through my mind, robbing it of sanity. To oppose the raging stream of my pain, I... You what? You screamed? let go of the hand known as the axis of reason desperately clinging to me. Oh, and thus my head was severed. The world had turned inside out. There was no pain, no nausea. That feeling of intoxication began to fade, as all my senses, sight and hearing included, were completely restored. What was that? As everything from the neck up had been replaced, it would only be natural for the previous head's discomfort to vanish as well. My myriad sensations, all strange, sharpened to the limit, and although there was a distinct sense of aloofness and ambiguity in its operation, the head had the body under control. Its movements remained stiff, a sway of the ego perhaps, yet Don Fuji's influence was already but an insignificant speck of dust, hardly even worth viewing as a problem. It would soon grow accustomed to it. It knew him better than anyone, guaranteeing utmost affinity. The two of them were as caduceus, two in one, two sides of the same coin, yin and yang. Okay. How truly romantic. What would man call this, if not the red string of fate itself? The hat began to cackle, its body staggering onwards with the unsteady step of a sleepwalker. Where to? That hardly needed to be said. To its prey. The hunter cared not who ended up slaughtered. It could have been even a cat or a dog for all it cared, so long as the prey had blood, life, and was worthy to be cut down. The hunter did not discriminate. All it needed was a victim large enough to be fit for massacre, to help satisfy these welling, destructive urges. Had there been a zoo nearby, an elephant or giraffe would have likely sufficed. However, that was not the case. As such, it needed to hunt for something else, something that hardly needed to be explained. Indeed, humans.
Oh no.
What's with that voice?
すみません.
Excuse me. A voice came pouring out.
よければ公園の外までご一緒させてもらえませんか?
Why female though?
怖くて.
Why female? If you don't mind, could you accompany me to the park entrance? I'm scared. Startled, the woman in her mid-20s turned around. Her gaudy makeup and suit left quite the impression, pointing towards a career in perhaps nighttime entertainment business. The hat continued to speak.
友達とはぐれちゃって。電話したら入り口で待ってるから早く来いって言われました。薄情な奴らですよね。
What's happening? I got separated from my friends. I called them and they said they'd be waiting by the entrance, so I should hurry over. Seriously, can you believe them? It produced a smile, all to call itself, to coax, to persuade its preferred target.
ダメですか?
Is it too much of a bother? In times like this, resenting a soft, kind and gentle expression worked as the most effective cover. The woman made a troubled smile, but ultimately agreed to the hat's request. Despite voicing a grumble or two, her voice rang with a hint of relief. She was probably frightened. Ah, what an idiot. Just as the had formulated that thought. Not even the assailant themselves could tell or remember which direction it came from. All they saw was the lightning-fast swoop of the blade, its after-image burned into their eyes. The woman was decapitated, her head sent flying into the air. It didn't end there. Her torso was sliced into 5 pieces before the head even hit the ground. She displayed not a shred of resistance. The act seemed a magic trick of sorts, but one that could never be undone. The woman's body split into pieces, her various parts scattering like falling Jenga blocks. The freshly severed head fell on the still spinning hand with his thumb, the same somewhat stiff smile eternally frozen on its lips. And then it bounced into the air one more time, before being sliced in two, right down the middle. The woman's face split open, scattering blood and brain as it burst like cheap fireworks. Okay. A fierce cackle reverberated in the area, piercing the very heavens. What's with that voice? Its spine creaked, perhaps due to joy, dread, or a mix of both. The creeping sensation of a myriad crawling worms shook its jaw, never once stopping. Then, the hunter's fits of laughter failed to seize a multitude of thoughts diffusing throughout its head. A feeling akin to the taste of cheap drugs, a gut-wrenching wave of chaotic, psychedelic tension, wonderful beyond description. It felt so good, everything from the head up switched on its own. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The world flashed like a strobe light as the neck-breakingly fast switch. To get a clear idea of what that felt like, one had simply to take a roller coaster, a free fall, and whatever they called that spinning coffee cup riding thing, and put them all together. The thrill of murder, the joy of robbing one alive, the intoxication of absolute carnage seeping into the very core of the hunter's being. The lambs and garbage cans within 10 meters had split apart, much like the woman. Mad with its own sheer over-enthusiasm, the hunter loved. As such, it wanted, it yearned to play a while long. Alice, you mustn't. It would appear they have caught wind of us, of this. The world shut down with a click, not unlike death. This, like that woman from a moment ago, whose very existence was denied and expunged, like that dream of being beheaded by a guillotine, that exact same sensation. Ah, so this was yet another dream. Sleep. Do not awaken. You must not wake up. Yes? Very interesting. Now then, the beasts approach. Retreat or advance. Make your choice. And so, after God knows how much time, I finally came to my senses, only to find myself gazing up at the moon. The round, perfectly circular shape of the moon, like a hole bored into the sky. The cold night air sent a shiver down my spine, feeling almost like it came pouring out from that very hole. Where was I? And what was I doing here all by myself? I didn't really know, nor did I remember anything for that matter. All I recalled was falling on my ass and spacing out like some idiot. Right, I had a dream. I couldn't recall all the details, but I knew it was quite the unpleasant, ominous, and terrifying, or perhaps enjoyable dream. At least, that was what it felt like. Why had I been staring at the moon this whole time without budging my eyes or my body? How of me to fixate on that? It wasn't like I really wanted to look at the moon, but it seemed to attract me precisely because I didn't want to see that. The moon was simply a convenient distraction, almost as if I was unconsciously clinging to it, trying to escape my surroundings. Why was something like that here? I didn't want to think about why this wet, sticky liquid on the ground was there, and finally looked down. My gaze fell upon a sea of blood as well as chunks of meat and excrement that seemed like they were chucked out of a bucket. Remains of a human body lay scattered as far as the eye could see, mutilated beyond recognition. Arms severed at the elbow, legs still standing up from the spine down, a torso cut into round slices with its intestines spilling out like spaghetti, and just as I'd feared, the body itself had nothing from the neck up. A woman's head, cleaved vertically, floated in the middle of that puddle of blood, facing the ground, eyes fixed on me in a glare. White bones, pink entrails, yellow fat, red muscles, grey brain, dull eyes, and light brown hair. The putrid stench of blood and death lingered about those grisly remains, even emitting steam, and the cold night air violated my nasal cavities with merciless intensity. What was all this doing here? I felt like a complete fucking idiot for only thinking about this now. I could remember, though only partially, that this body used to look like the kind of face it made. What this body looked like, the kind of face it made, as well as how she was killed. Poor Anne. I vomited with enough force to make me feel like my innards were being turned inside out. Let it out, Ren, let it out. The smell of vomit mixed in with the stench of blood, the stomach cramped under the wintry moonlight. No doubt, a result of the blood that looked nearly like a veil of crimson mist. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a dream. This coat, this head, this stench, these images, they were all... Did I do this? Didn't you? Hello? What? I felt completely shocked, more by the action I took rather than the abrupt voice that prompted me to do it. Just how many meters did I jump back despite being on all fours? Alala? A man I'd never seen before greeted me with a jovial smile. If he was standing where I'd been until a moment ago, it meant that I must have jumped back about 10 meters back. Good reaction, kid. The man spoke up in a calm voice, paying no heed to mutilated corpse by his feet. He clearly harbored not a shred of respect for the dead, casually trampling on the woman's sliced face like it was no more than an empty can. Seeing that, a difficult-to-describe chill rushed through my entire body. The beast's approach. Didn't someone say that that moments before I regained consciousness? This was bad, really bad. Nerve cells all throughout my body began to sound the equivalent of emergency siren, blowing clean away all trivial bafflements that came with seeing a dead body, killing someone, or wondering what I was even doing here in the first place. Before me towered a colossal threat. It would have been simple to identify it as a beast of prey. No, a better way to describe it would be an otherworldly kind of pressure, the tread of some mysterious, inhuman, abomination. Such an abruptly materialized source of pure wickedness evicted all potential thoughts from my mind. This guy was not normal. He was not human.
よう、なんか言えよガキ。こっちは気使って猿用の言葉で話してやってるんだぜ。
Hey, say something, kid. I'm being all considerate here by using words even subhuman filth can understand.
口聞けねえってわけでもねえだろうが。
You ain't some mute motherfucker, are you? Well, I won't be able to. It won't show up in restricted mode anyway. I'm used to that. The man took a step towards me. The emergency alarm in my mind proceeded to kick it up a notch. It was a hunch similar to base instinct. It was telling me to run. Otherwise, I would be devoured. Well, isn't that a great time to end this part? I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you then. Bye!